Williams. We also have our central midfielder in Hugo Broos. So, Coach, I'm going to hand over to you to address the media ahead of these two friendlies.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Unfortunately, this camp is again disturbed by injuries. Like last month, we have Obas, we have Morena, we have Maela, we have Maseko. Maseko is something different. It's a second time that we have that surprise that the player is injured and suddenly he plays. It was last month with Mudau. To this month it's with Maseko. I think we need a better communication between me or national team and clubs so that we are really know how much the player is injured and if he's not ready to come with the national team. Then there is a case of Percy Tau, so I had contact with Percy last week. For family reasons, he liked not to be here with us, and I understood it. At the other side, I'm really not amused that he played yesterday with Al Ali. So I think clubs have to understand that in very important periods they wanted to have their players, but it's the same case for me, for us as a national team. We are in a very important period for the moment. We are in preparation for qualifiers next month, and we are in preparation for AFCON in January. So I hope, and I hoped, a little more collaboration from that side should be welcome. That means that we don't really achieve our goal. The goal was that we should have nearly the same selection that won against Morocco, and building up that selection to have a very good team for the qualifiers and for January AFCON. But okay, it doesn't run like I wished because of the injuries. It's a very important period, you know, and the only positive thing is that we saw in the past many new players, and that we could judge them if they were good enough or right or ready to be with our team. So we have two games now in front of us. First of all, Eswatini. Why Eswatini? Because we thought that it was the best preparation after Namibia for our qualifiers in November. Those are teams who are playing a little bit the same way, the same style. It will not be teams who will try to win against us, but try not to lose. So, and therefore, again, Eswatini is a good preparation. The other game is Ivory Coast. It's totally different. It's more towards AFCON. We play against a very strong team. They play at home, so the environment of the game will be like in AFCON, full stadium, fantastic atmosphere, and a good team. So therefore, again, I'm very happy with the two opponents of this camp. And the result against Eswatini will be very important. I want to win against Eswatini and not have again the same problems, if I can say that, like Namibia, where we didn't play well and we make some mistakes. Ivory Coast is something else. There the performance will be more important. And I hope we can have a good and a positive result against this very strong team. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Coach? Lorenz, we'll start with you.
Coach Lorenz from Whiskey Times, is Percy the only player that is dropping out? And who's he replacing? Because we saw Sabisi also get injured in the MT90 final. And if he
No, I'm very happy that, for example, Shibishi is no problem. So, okay, it was a head contact, it was a little concussion, I think, but he's okay. So there was a little problem with Grant Kekana. It is okay also. He did an MRI and no problem. The only little problem is here on my right side with this fantastic dribble of Saturday. So he has a little problem on his ankle, but I like to have him with us and see how the injury is evaluating in the next days, and want to recuperate him for the game in Ivory Coast.
And who replaces Percy?
I'm sorry?
Who replaces Percy?
I'm Sante from Chiefs. How is he say?
That's it. Yeah.
Just pronounce it.
Kamahalo Mukhale from YFM. Coach, I know our fate will only be decided on Thursday with regards to which group will be in for next year's AFCON. But I want to find out from you, with the games that you have played and some of the games that you're still going to play, are there enough tests for the team of what it is to come, not only just for the World Cup qualifiers, but what will happen in AFCON?
No, I think first of all we had already a test last month against DRC, and that's why we choose those opponents. We played before with against teams like Sierra Leone and Mozambique and so on. Those are teams from another quality. So we did it well because we won against DRC. The level and the quality was not what I wanted, but okay. It was a first test, we won it. We have to win also those games. Now it's the second test. And we will see after the game against Ivory Coast what we still need to be good in January. And even when we only talk about AFCON, it's also, maybe now for the moment, more important to be ready for those games in November. Because when you can start with a 6-on-6, that means that your opponent knows that they have to win also, and you put the pressure on them. So therefore it's very important that we have a 6-on-6 in November, and that we had those games from September and those who are coming now.
Any more questions, Coach?
Coach, this is not the first time you've talked about needing to have better communication, better buy-in from domestic clubs in terms of supporting the national team. So my question is, do you think Bafana is supported enough in the country from the clubs, and even look at the supporters in the last two games, attendance was about nothing. How do we change that from supporters to the club?
You know, I'm trying already 2 years to meet the coaches, and every time PSL postponed it. So I did 4 attempts, 4 times it was postponed by PSL. So I know that the communication can be better, but it's not my fault. It's not my responsibility, because I did 4 attempts to have that communication. And then you know that those things can happen. So we had this problem with Mudau last month, and then suddenly he plays on Saturday, 2 days before the camp starts. You can't change anymore. We have the same thing now with Maseko. So that means that the communication has to be better. And I know what I'm going to do in the future, to not have any more those kind of surprises.
Can you share?
Sorry?
But he is asking though, Coach, he's asking you about the support for Bafana from fans.
Yeah.
Do you think that the national team is supported enough by fans?
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
No. I'm very sorry, but I have to say no. When you come on the pitch against DRC and you see only supporters of DRC and you play a home game, you can't be happy with that. People has to know that players need that support. When you play, and okay, for COVID, it was COVID, there was no crowd in the stadium. And it was every time a sad moment when you came on the stadium, it was empty. So we hoped that once that was behind us, that they should be there, and they were there against Morocco. The fans were there, and you see what a fantastic performance we did. They helped us to do that performance. So I hope, really hope, that, but I think it will be the same thing again against Swantini. But I really hope that one day this crowd will be behind us in the stadiums, because we need it. We will play in Ivory Coast next week. How many? 40,000 or what's the stadium? Full, eh? I saw the game against Mali. Full. They are there. So let's hope once that these people here of South Africa understand that we need them.
We need our media too. Lorenz, and then Flatsi, Spiesel.
Coach, just to expand on Dansane's call-up, I mean, even, Chiefs fans have been complaining that their players are not in the squad, but now they're even complaining, saying, why are you selecting him? What have you seen in him to say he can replace
I think
Percy
last time I said, when we talked about the replacement of Temba, that we knew, okay, Temba has a certain age, we have to look for the future, that we have someone behind him, certainly also for AFCON. When you have that age, I don't think that you can count every game, every 3 days for 100% on Temba. So you need someone there, you need a solution. And then Zwane, well, you know who I'm talking about. Is one who was on our list. So now, because Percy was not there, or is not there, so we had two choices. Or we took another winger, or we took the opportunity to have someone, maybe in the future, who can be a replacement for Temba, and that's why he's there. And I have to ask to stop now. Okay, I said what I said, but to stop now with that. I just choose players not because they are in Sundowns, not because they are in Chiefs, or I don't choose them because they are in those teams or other teams. I just choose players because I need them and because I think they are the best on that moment, on that position. That's all.
I didn't really ask about the club. I asked what did
What?
I didn't really ask about the club. I asked what did you see in him
Yeah, but
specifically.
because you asked that, you know, because you asked that, you know that. Yeah, why are you know? He's from Chiefs, and you said blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
All right,
No,
Flatsi?
this is not the case now. I just choose, and I don't look if they play Chiefs, Pirates, Chipa, whatever. No, it's not important for me. It's not really important for me where they are playing.
All right, next question, Flatsi.
Coach, how important is this match against Ivory Coast, given the fact that at the Cup of Nations you are largely going to consistently come up against that kind of quality, and also for the players to measure up against the top class players like that?
You know, when you play against such opponents, normally, automatically, you are also increasing your quality. It's logic. When you always play against smaller teams and you win, yeah, okay, you can be happy, and we were very happy when we won all those games. But yeah, you don't really progress. You don't really progress. And therefore, those games are important. Even when we lose, or should lose, against Ivory Coast, you will learn something. You will have advantage to have played against that team. So, and therefore, again, we will see what our level is for the moment when we play against such a team. And therefore, again, what I said a few minutes ago, result is important, for sure. But at the end, for me, the most important thing is to see where are we now, 3 months before AFCON. do we have to do in the next months to become maybe better? And in what we have to be better? So it's a long time ago we played for such a crowd against such a big team. I remember France. And nobody understood that I said after the game, yeah, we learned something. No, there was only critic. But how can you learn when you don't fail? How can you learn? When everything is always good. How can you learn then? And that is also now with DRC and with Ivory Coast. This is the goal of those games. Okay, where are we? What do we have to do in the next month?
Cecil.
Yeah, Coach, the withdrawal of Kesitao, because I couldn't hear properly from the back, that's why I decided to come nearer. You said it's due to family reasons, and where does that put you? How is withdrawal? How does that affect?
You heard what I've said, and I don't want to spoil more words on that. Finished.
Then this withdrawal, how does that affect your plans going into?
Affect the team. You know that, and I said already in the past that Percy Tau can be a very important player for us when he's on his level, his normal level. And you saw his game against Morocco. So when you miss a player like this, it's always a pity, but okay, it's like that.
Okay, final question.
How does having more
Can you
players...
just introduce yourself? I'll go first and then go ahead.
From NCA. How does having more players playing at international level help the quality of the team overall?
What?
How does it benefit our team having players play at international level or abroad?
You know, it's very important that you have players who are playing abroad because, and maybe some people will be angry again, I think that competitions there are a higher level than PSL for the moment. You see how Sundowns is first after 8 games and have an advantage of 10 points or more. This is not good for South African football. So that means again, players who are playing abroad, ask him the level of American football. Ask him, ask players who are playing in Europe, ask Foster who is playing in the Premiership. So when they're playing there, it's the same thing what I explained a few minutes ago with us. When you play against good opponents, strong opponents, you become better. Foster became a better player since in Burnley. He becomes a better player because every day he's playing with players who are better and he's playing games against teams who are better. So this is very important that you have players abroad without forgetting those who are here. But it gives you something extra. And see the teams or the countries who are in the first 10 ranking in Africa and see the selections. Most of them are all players who are playing in Europe or abroad, not in the local competition. So I think that means something, and for us it's important that those guys are here, again, without forgetting those who are playing here. So I don't minimize those here, but it gives you something extra.